Chapter 2. Life seemed to move very slowly. The days of being hungry increased, and there appeared to be no end to the madness. One day, John came home really excited. He apologized to Mom and explained to her that he was buying her a new house. I found the perfect house, and things are going to be great, I promise. This was his way of making things up to her. We were moving to a new town, moving out of the ghetto of downtown where the church bells rang, the cars passed, people fought and cursed, and children wrote distasteful things on buildings and sidewalks. We were moving to a top of the line neighborhood into this beautiful 2-bedroom brick house with a huge backyard for playing. It was quiet and calm, and life seemed as though it would be better. I had a room that I shared with my brother, but it was nice. As I stood outside on the front porch, the wind whistled through the silence, and all was well. I started preschool at Corinthians Baptist Church, and Mom walked me to school over the railroad tracks that were located at the end of our street 4 days a week. It was a new experience. We had a new house, we had food, and Mom was happy. For the first time in her marriage, things looked promising. The lights were on, and that damp, musty smell was gone. The alleys were gone. The darkness was gone. The empty stomach was gone. I jumped over the rainbow from preschool and enjoyed the summer with my little brother. We played records that had books to them, we learned how to read, and we made new friends. My favorite story was Peter and the Wolf. I loved to listen to that amazing music as the story was told about a boy meeting a wolf and outsmarting him. During those moments, there was not a care in the world. We were being kids. We were eating food. I had my own bed, and all summer we played and played and played. Summer went by, and it was time for me to go to kindergarten at the big school, Kennedy Elementary. I remember crying all day. I don't want to stay. Where's my mama? I sobbed and sobbed. Although I had already attended preschool, things seemed extremely scary in that big new building. After 3 or 4 days, I calmed down and began to enjoy walking to school with my mom and brother. Then I met my first friend. She had moved next door with the neighbors. Her mom had been killed, and the Moors had adopted her so she could have a secure place to be. We played with each other every day. We played dolls, jump rope, jacks, and we sometimes played house, incorporating my little brother to be the baby. That year, I had the time of my life. I had a new best friend. I went to a cool new school, and my mom sent us to camp where we learned how to swim and ride horses. We were able to go swimming at Kennedy School almost every day, and things appeared to be going just fine. Unfortunately, things did not last. Underneath all that bliss, darkness was setting in. It was creeping in like a sidewinder on a hot day in tall, weedy grass. Not only was it creeping in, it would soon cover us like the canopy of trees found in the jungles of Africa, not allowing any light to come through. It would later devour us like a Tyrannosaurus Rex eating its young. I finished kindergarten and went on to the first grade when the darkness began taking hold of our lives again. You see, it never really left us. We were on borrowed time, and time had run out. As the minutes rushed by, I began to recognize remnants of the past. Yeah, it was subtle, but at the end, it was like a flood. Food started getting scarce. John was never at home. The darkness was upon us, and the shadows overtook us, and we began spiraling through a dark hole of no return. At the end of the first grade, John went into Roman Psychiatric Hospital. and we were told that he had a nervous breakdown. Mom was pregnant, and I remember thinking to myself, what's a nervous breakdown? How do you get one? Is it catchy? Maybe mom would catch it, then me, then my brother. I remember feeling scared and anxious. My body was shaking as if someone had jumped from behind the bushes and startled me. I needed some answers, but no one would talk about it. Mom didn't say much other than he would be all right and that he would have to stay in the hospital for a little while. How long is a little while? I asked. I don't really know, but soon, she replied. You just go outside and play. I'll handle this. So, of course, I went on playing and laughing as usual. I didn't have any idea that having a nervous breakdown meant that you were crazy, as kids would put it. As times passed, I found out that John was crazy. His mind had shut down on him, and he was no longer able to cope with the stress of life. I wasn't sure what the stress was, but I would soon find out. It was the summer of 1974 when John came home. Mom was pregnant and due to deliver the baby in a couple of months. About 2 weeks after he was home from the hospital, John started right back with the gambling routine. It seemed as though gambling was the stress factor that had driven him crazy. John gambled his whole paycheck, and the days of being left in the dark and hungry returned. He would also stay gone all weekend while my mother cried her eyes out, yet remained silent about the harsh and bitter reality of having married a sick, sick man. Yes, I say sick because gambling is a disease. It's one that eats through a family like cancer to the bone. It infests your very being, and it clouds your judgment and ability to reason between right and wrong. It leaves families hopeless and distraught to the bitter end.